We are continuing with our Rookie Rewind series, and we're going to talk about Jalen Tolbert, wide receiver from the Dallas Cowboys. You might have forgotten about him because the Dallas Cowboys sure did. We didn't see much out of him this year, and we got to look at his dynasty value. We got to look at the production, whatever that was this year, and try to figure out where he should be valued, how we should play him in dynasty fantasy football going forward. But let's just take a look at everything, and let's figure out the numbers here. So first things first, Jalen Tolbert is in no man's land here in ADP, wide receiver 89, and this is December ADP. January ADP is going to be coming out soon, probably in the next week or so. They're drafted now, so we might see this dip even more. He's being drafted at like 200 overall, 204 ADP, so 200 to 205 range is where you're seeing him drafted at. He's being drafted around old guys like Latavius Murray, Russell Gage, Darrell Henderson, Ben Schroeneck, Malik Willis is down there, and this is one QB, Kyle Phillips, Pierre Strong. So this is the no man's land area. Going to his profile page here, and we're seeing his stock decrease big time. One thing you want to look at here is the age. I didn't point that out on the last page, but 23.8 years old. Will be 24 in February. Older rookie. Older player going into his second season. Late third round draft capital. Not early third round draft capital. So this is going to be very ambiguous. Not good for him going forward. There's not much sunk cost invested in him. Late third rounds, not super heavy in premium picks. So that's not on his radar for staying with the team long term if things don't turn around. Looking here at his historical data for ADP, in August, we saw it climb up there, 110 overall. That's pretty good for a rookie going into the season. And remember, the Cowboys wide receiver depth chart was very ambiguous. We just had CeeDee Lamb and a bunch of other jabronis. James Washington just got hurt, and we did not know what was going on. Michael Gallup was coming back from injury. He wasn't going to start the season. So there was a lot of hoopla about Jalen Tolbert, about him being able to step up and get his opportunity. And the thing about that is that never happened. That never happened. And then we just saw the free fall right down here all the way to 180 in October. Held that for a bit. December, we're flatlining to 204 ADP. Historically, when you're looking at wide receivers and other prospects, when they flatline like this in ADP, the odds really start stacking against them. The market's telling you that they've seen enough of this guy. We think we know what's going on here, and we're just going to cast them out to the wolves. That's it. We're done. That's what the market's saying. That's not what I'm saying, but that's what the market says. And usually the odds are pretty good that the wolves are going to eat this guy up. That's what that's saying. That's what these numbers saying. That's just the odds historically from whenever you see a young wide receiver prospect do this. They're up here on ADP. You see them dip so low that they're in no man's land, and that's not a good sign. You will get some guys rise above, but that's just a few among all the other guys, all the other wide receivers in the graveyard. Looking at the game log, whatever this is that we're looking at, we had 2 targets in week 3, 1 target in week 11, 3 targets on the season, 2 catches for 12 yards so far on the year. He's also been a healthy scratch a lot of the season as well. Moving over here to RotoViz, and same, no production. We got almost 3 fantasy points this season. If I'm doing my math right, 3, almost 4, so in that range. So not good. Week 3 and week 11, you got a little something if you really needed them, if you're that bad off, but not looking good. Then going over here to Roto World, we're looking at some news. This gave us the heads up going into the season. This is when the ADP really should have dropped. Really should have looked at this. But Jalen Tolbert is a healthy scratch for week 1, and that was in September 11th. Going forward in this, Brian Broaddus, big guy in Cowboys media, former scouts a lot of players, very good at analyzing players. Would not be surprised if he was a healthy scratch going into week 1. There's no urgency to bring in a veteran. This really pumped him up a little bit because this was early August. Again, things are heating up in early August, so you don't really know. Mike McCarthy said Tolbert is a step behind, so that's not good considering you're in mid-September right now, and now we're rolling into the news, and he's not even out there really. Going over to player profile, let's look at this. Look at his athleticism. It's okay. 70th percentile 40-yard dash, 50th percentile size adjusted speed score. Age is starting to creep up there, even though he's a second-year guy. Catch radius, all right. Decent size. Breakout age is kind of high. He didn't get productive until his third season in the league down here. Wherever that's at, that's down here. Third season in the league in college at South Alabama. 1,085 yards, 8 touchdowns, and followed that up with a bigger season, 1,400 yards, 33% target share. So these 2 seasons right here got him drafted in the 3rd round, but it was late 3rd round. Also boosted his draft capital on rookie drafts. I was drafting him, but he was like the last wide receiver we were taking. Early 3rd round, you're taking that shot, and that depth chart was making it look juicy here. But again, one thing you want to note, these G5 players, you really want to be overly critical with them, even though the metrics are good. We do got kind of a late breakout age here with 2 1,000-yard seasons in the back half of his career and a decent market share season at age 21-ish. So not too shabby from a production standpoint, but honestly, you got to be overly critical with the G5 wide receivers coming out. They don't go against the top tier competition, and they can do things to get by, to get productive, that does not hash out in the Power 5 level and SEC competition. So that's one thing you need to note going forward. These guys come from these G5 schools. They need to be analyzed with the fine jeweler's glass on. But again, once we get to a certain part of rookie drafts, you're pulling strings anyways, just in case, because these G5 guys can hit and do some things. Think about Romeo Doubs as well. So it's not always just a white and black scenario. There's a lot of shades of gray, but you do need to look harder at these G5 guys. Going over to Keep Trade Cut, looking at his final market value here, and this site is pretty good. You get a good streamline of the market because you get a lot more volume. Over here in the last 6 months, you're seeing a big dip. Last year, you're seeing the bump up here. You're seeing a dip. That is not good. That is not good. That's the market telling you that they've seen enough. They've seen enough from Jalen Tolbert. Like, hey, we're done with him. Adjacent players of overall, Robert Tonyan, Albert O, Kevin Harris, Jerome Ford, Tutu Atwell, Quez Watkins, Diami Brown. When you look at the wide receivers, thing about this though, when you're going back to his ADP, is he's going in a section where it doesn't really matter. Like, there's no sunk cost. So he's really just sitting at the back end of your roster here. And if he doesn't fire, you're like, oh, well, I'll just move on. If you trade for him, it's not even anything you're paying for. You're just getting him. So I wouldn't even call him a buy. I would just say, if you want him, you can get him. If he's on someone's roster, he's technically on the waiver wire. He's that cheap. That's what I look at him. Can he break out? He's going to have to develop. He's going to have to step it up. Can he step it up? We don't know. We saw some goods at South Alabama, but that's South Alabama. So we're just going to have to wait for him to step up, and that may never happen. But the thing is, if you're paying for him, it doesn't matter because you're not paying anything for him because he's free. So if you want to take that shot, go ahead. Do I recommend it? I don't really care because it's so cheap that go ahead. But on the flip side, this might not happen. The odds are stacked to get him. Historically, it's not good. The depth chart there is kind of in his favor, but with it already being in his favor, he should have stepped up this year. Maybe another offseason under his belt might help, but I wouldn't be surprised if Dallas brings in more guys because they probably will. All teams will if they were in this situation. So there's going to be more competition for him to compete against, so you want to look at that. But again, the sunk cost is nothing, so it's just a free roll on a guy that might get some opportunities later on or not. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't matter at this point at 204 ADP. If you paid a late second, mid-third round rookie pick, early fourth round rookie pick on him, honestly, those picks got a 10 to 15% hit rate. So really, you're just in the minutia anyways, and this is something that should be expected on a lot of these players. So don't feel too bad about that. I drafted some shares, and honestly, that was like the last wide receiver I was looking at before I started just doing nothing but running back. And that's how it ended up. But let me know what you think about Jalen Tolbert in the comments below. Are you working him in your rosters? Are you done? What's your thoughts? Because it's very ambiguous right now. And we're also got a crossroads with him with his NFL career if he doesn't step it up soon. I want to thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. It's only going to help you with your Dynasty game, rookie drafts, rookies, and everything else. I want to thank you for watching again. I'll catch you on the next video.